Oh, hey! Welcome back to the Unstable Creatures podcast with me, Selena. Today we have a community advocate, well-loved, well-rounded woman, commercial real estate, the owner of Space Swap that promotes upcycling clothes and not creating pollution in the earth. She is a super awesome person. We talk about relationships. We talk about love life. We talk about men. We talk about the clothing industry in our world and how it is affecting the earth every single day. And we talk about a lot of things, girly things. We love her to death. So today, the guest is Alexandra Komara.
I got chicken, ducks, and roosters on the farm. I'm just beating back with Susan the alarm. Johnny ate the grass, he's mowing on a bong. Gypsy blisters never sing for long. I hope I'm not wrong, I hope I'm not wrong. I hope I'm not wrong, I hope I'm not wrong. I hope I'm not wrong, I hope I'm not wrong. I hope I'm not wrong, I hope I'm not wrong.
Yeah, we're good. You guys are good.
Now we're matching.
Literally. Can you get me a drink? You can put this one here too if you want.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Perfect.
Is this your partner or business partner?
Yes, business partner. I'm just
Nice.
joking. This is the love of my life, my boyfriend.
Aw,
He's
how
amazing. He
cute.
literally helps me constantly.
Fabulous.
Yeah, I wouldn't
So
be
he's
able
the
to.
man behind the curtain.
Literally.
I have one of those too, and we can
Really?
talk about it.
Yes, that's the best. Like, I think someone that does all the like laborious part and just lets me do nothing is like the best part. I think that's the perk of having a boyfriend, that I don't actually have to do anything.
Let's you be
So-
the star of the show, and then
Yes.
they do all of the behind the scenes.
100%. Like,
Yeah.
I get home from work and like everything's cleaned, it's set up, like everything's ready to go, dishes done, trash taken out. Like, I literally don't have to do anything, and
I
it's the
love
best.
That. That's
The
phenomenal.
best. Yeah. He has a bit of an attitude though, which sometimes causes problems, but just a little bit sassy. Is your boy?
Sassy.
Yeah, a lot of it sassy. Like, sassy men takeover is crazy right now, right? Men are so like, they're so sassy these days. They like don't
Yeah.
like being told what to do for some reason. It's
Yeah.
just, it's getting out of control.
They need to come into submission. And
Yes,
just take
I'm
it.
getting sick of it. Like,
Yeah.
just lay down, let us tell you what to do. Don't move. Like, leave us alone. Like, just do what I'm telling you to do. It's really
Yes.
not that complicated.
Yes.
Do you have a boyfriend?
Yes. Yes.
Does he let you tell him what to do?
So it's really interesting. He is very much like golden retriever.
Okay.
I've heard that term passed around on the internet a lot, but
Yes.
he's very much like
Just happy to be there.
happy to be there.
Yeah.
He does not need to be the star of the show, but he
Okay.
just wants to be involved
Always.
with my life, which is
Yeah.
amazing. And so
That's good.
our mutual hobbies, like when we first, are we recording, by the way?
Yes. Imagine.
I didn't really know. Like,
Yeah, we always do like a soft intro because we don't want to be like, hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. You know what I mean? Like, in front of everyone.
yes. So my partner, his name is Ben. We actually
Okay.
met a couple of weeks, I would say, before the grand opening of Space Swap Shop.
Okay.
And for those wow, okay, now I'm camera shy. I didn't know we were recording.
No,
but
it's
this will
fine.
be great.
Yeah.
It's true, authentic.
Right.
So yeah, we met right before Space Swap, and we met at the Space Coast. What's it called? Oh, so many different things that
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, what's the name of that thing? Music festival, Space Swap Music
Okay.
Fest.
Okay.
Or Space Coast Music Fest. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. It's been a long day today.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good.
And we had a Space Swap stage there, and it was a vinyl stage. So we had vinyl records,
Okay.
and it was at New Vision's nursery a couple of years ago. And so my boyfriend was there because he's friends with the Doonies, which is a local band. And
Okay.
we were like dancing and stuff.
Oh, love it.
And,
Yeah.
And then
He hit the Soldier Boy and you said, that's it for me.
That's
Love
it.
it.
Let's go.
Love it.
then afterwards I was like, hey, I have to go clean up a stage. He was like,
Mhm.
a stage? I was like, yeah, we're producing one of the stages here at the music festival, you know, kind of like turning into a pumpkin at midnight. I was like, gotta go clean up a stage.
right. And he was like, let me help.
Yeah, he was like, let me help. And that
Okay.
was it.
Cute.
That was
Love
it.
that.
I was like,
Acts of service is the vibe.
100%.
100%.
100%.
I think whenever I was like younger, I used to be like, oh yeah, physical touch, you know what I mean? Or like words of affirmation like a slut. But really all I wanted was like
Tell
acts
me
of
I'm
service.
pretty.
Yeah, like that's great and all, but like now that I'm more mature and I've kind of like
Yeah.
grown into adulthood, acts of service is 100% like
Yeah.
my love language.
Yeah.
Like now I get it. Like
Yes.
people that said that because
Yeah.
I was always like, no, like don't clean, you don't know how, like let me do everything. saying like you suck, you know what I mean?
Now it's like
yeah, exactly.
please.
Like, please just do actually everything. Like, I don't want to move. So yeah, that's so cute. I love whenever men take initiative.
Yes, and I'm sure you can relate to this too, because you're a busy woman. You're doing all the things. You're a comedian. You're a talk show host. You do all of the things, and I also do all of the things. But when I was first looking for a partner, before I met my partner, I was like, okay, I need like CEO, personality, all of this. But now I realize I needed someone who is grounded, humble, securely attached.
Yes, yeah. Actually, don't ever leave. Yeah, 100%.
Like, they can't be psychotic because there's only enough room for one of those, and that's me.
Yo, seriously. And I think that was my problem, is I always dated people that were like super similar to me, but in the worst ways. Like, they actually mimicked all of my flaws and all of the bad things about me instead of the good things. Yeah. So then it's like just two psychopaths together, and we just look like Shutter Island or something's going on there.
So much fun until it's not.
No, seriously. Yeah. And then it's like not even like they're just psychotic. It's like they lied about like being in the military and they never were. Like type of psychotic. Yeah. Just
totally
like,
normal.
Totally normal. Like faked having diseases and stuff. Oh yeah. Like, I mean, it's bad. I literally actually hate men. Like, I have single friends that are like dating and stuff, and I'm just like, I can't do it.
Don't just become gay and
no, seriously. Like, I'm like watching Love is Blind too, and I'm like, oh God, I can't stand it. Like, men are actually disgusting. Like, the things that they say, like, to impress you, and it's like, I saw them like playing ping pong, and he was like chasing the ball, and I'm like, oh God, I can't do this. Like, and then like one of the guys was getting a massage, and like just the idea of a guy being relaxed is like pissing me off. Like, it's just I can't. Men are despicable. No. But yeah, I feel the same way. Until you find a good one. Until you find a good one. Then it's like you're happy for them and you want all the things. Yeah. I think I was the same way. Like, I wanted a guy that like also had a busy life and like was like a business owner and like had a lot going on and like had all these dreams and aspirations and stuff. But then I realized like that's just genuinely not feasible for two people to be that way. It's more so like either we're working on it together as a one thing. Absolutely. Like, this is our thing, you know?
Absolutely. That's
finding that is hard.
It is. It is. And I kind of came to the conclusion that since I have a very like powerful dream and I have such a great support system from my partner, like, that's the way that it was meant to be. Yes. Because I feel like there's only enough room for like there has to be a support somewhere, right? There has to be a support. Absolutely. Else we would never see each other.
Right.
And so that's the thing. Like, I want to be able to see my partner. And it's great that you and your partner are doing this podcast together.
Yeah. It is difficult, though. I think that a lot of people don't really talk about like the balance of the two. Like, it's really difficult to like find the support, but also the balance at the same time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if we both have like something that we're working on and we're both like, because we have very similar personalities as far as like outgoing and like, you know, we have a lot of drive, we have a lot of power, our personalities are very loud. So like that becomes an issue in a lot of different ways, like because someone needs support, but like I'm also have something going on, you know what I mean? And so it's like the power balance of like, when do I 100%, step back or when does he step back? You know what I mean? It's like, it's crazy.
And that's hard. And I'm kind of dealing with that right now a little bit because, you know, my partner, he has a job, you know, he works at Lockheed and really solid. So he has his like 410s, he has a structure. And then my life is like, boo, boo, boo.
Yes. Yeah.
So, you know, as we both get busy, like different things get put off. Like, for example, I have like globs of laundry to come home to.
Oh God, I can't. Yeah.
I know. And so like, it's kind of getting at the point where it's like, do we bring in help? Like, do we hire a maid? Like, she can't be too hot, but like.
Right. Let's just get Esmeralda or something. Yeah, absolutely.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But it's like when to bring in that extra help and support.
Yeah. Because sometimes you have to think about that. Like, I feel the same way. Like, sometimes things just like my car like starts stacking up with like Diet Coke cans, and it's like been 6 months, you know what I mean, since I've seen the like the floorboard. So I'm like, I probably should honestly do something about this.
100%.
But it's like, I have somewhere to go, I always have something to do, somewhere to be. Like, it's frustrating sometimes because like the pod, like I wanted to be able to have like time to like talk because like we literally don't even know each other at all. It's like, hey, never met, let's go ahead and start recording.
So
like,
we met at Space Swap Shop.
Yes, we did.
You came and you did a comedy show, right?
Yes.
With Matt Glidden and all of them back in the day.
We're bringing that back. We're like, he's trying to bring it back at a place in downtown Melbourne.
Okay, cool.
Because that show was so much fun. I thought it was like literally awesome. A blast. We killed it. It's like an interactive comedy show where like people submit questions or like advice, and some of them are like super deep, and then other ones are a little bit more lighthearted, funnier, playful, and I love that. Like, I hate to be like the dichotomy of it all, but like,
the dichotomy of it all.
Yes, and that's what I love about my pod is like having really intense, deep conversations, but also like lighthearted, funny things. And so I enjoyed that so much. It was so much fun.
I think that's really important. Like when we were doing that show, it's called Asking for a Friend.
Yes.
And so
to be continued.
Yeah. That's really cool. And we were actually able to partner with Brevard Prevention Coalition on that because we feel like laughter is very therapeutic, especially when you write a question, like if you have a really weird question.
Or like you're dealing with something, you know, like I have bumps on my ass crack or something crazy.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I mean? Or like, hey, so my mom just died and I'm like struggling with like grieving, you know, like it's a lot.
So it brings a lot of relation. And I did some research on that, and it is kind of in the realm of playback theater. So if you're able to see something acted out or presented in a different light, it can actually have a mind shift change, and you are able to help like process those emotions easier. So like it's like a, you know,
especially for me too, like if like you're having a conversation with someone and you're like being vulnerable or opening up, obviously it's anonymous, so that takes the pressure off. And then also like to see complete strangers and someone's like, oh my God, like my mom also passed away 2 years ago, or like just to randomly hear someone like literally is going through the exact same thing, it automatically makes you feel so much better about like what you're dealing with, or like anxiety or anything, to just hear strangers say, dude, I'm literally dealing with that right now as well. It helps so much. Like I know for me, it always has, like just to hear about someone else dealing with that. But yeah, I'm excited. To be continued. Matt Glidden as well. Like he's going to be killing it. Space Swap is fun. I haven't been there in so long. I haven't I follow the Instagram and stuff. So like, how did you start that? What exactly is it? How did you start it? What do you guys do?
Great question. So Space Swap, we are about almost 4 years old. We are a nonprofit entity, so 501c3 status, and we basically...
She said 501c3, honey.
501c3.
One thing about it.
We earn that status. No taxes, baby.
Right, exactly.
But we do a lot of good in the community, and we were actually able to host over 100 events since our conception.
Love
so
it.
some of them being comedy events, music shows, clothing swaps, what have you.
Yeah.
But originally, we started as a clothing swap. In an effort to save clothing.
I went to one like a long time ago. I think it was like one of the first ones. Yeah,
probably. Yeah. We've done a couple to date, and we have one coming up in April, which is really exciting.
Love. Okay, awesome.
So yeah, we just are trying to, you know, promote sustainable fashion, conscious fashion, and put an end to fast fashion. Fuck fast fashion.
Wait, is that like Shein and stuff?
Yeah. And it's okay. Okay, listen, I don't fast shame. It's okay. It's okay. Like, it's all a work in progress.
Yeah.
Like, the first step to recovery is knowing we have a problem.
Right.
Which is fine.
But you see, like, with me for Shein and Temu and stuff, I don't really buy clothes. I buy, like, stuff. Like towels, and like half of this shit is from Shein and Temu, like I swear, and like the other half of it like I painted, or you know what I mean. So like I think it's more so of like the things that I buy, because the clothes are just like I don't know. I'm a Goodwill girl when it comes to clothes. And Goodwill. Like Goodwill. Yeah,
I get it. And
love Goodwill.
And it's a whole, you know, we're never going to be perfect, right? We can only do what we can do. And if for you it's buying Goodwill clothes and then kind of like doing whatever with like the stuff that you have around the house, like that's fine. But it's like every little thing that we can do helps. And you feel like the purpose for that is what? Like to stop child labor, to help the environment, all of it? Like what's the main thing? Okay. I mean, the toxic like CO2 emissions, that's helping accelerate global warming, unfortunately, and then the child labor, and like even the toxic runoff into the waterways from the dyes. And think about it. It's like what we put on our body is just as important as what we put in our body. Yeah. You know, everyone checks food labels and what's, you know, what are you digesting today? But we also need to be checking clothing labels. Like, are these natural fibers? Are we putting something kind of itchy and turn sketchy on our skin?
Right.
Is it going to fall apart in 2 washes?
Is it made out of pig fat or like, yeah, dude, I don't know. Like sometimes like I'll buy clothes and it's like the material that it's made of is super, it scares the hell out of me. It's like, dude, I feel like this is like made from like rubber bands and like gummy bears, like something. I don't know. Like it's like insane. It's so ridiculous.
I mean, some of these clothing, they have like toxic lead in them. Like,
oh my God.
We don't know really what we're getting.
Yeah.
Especially if we can't really read the label or understand it.
So. Definitely. Yeah, because it's like you have no idea where it's coming from or why. Did you ever see that one thing about like people were buying clothes from Shein and like those kids were like printing on the or no one knows who it was, but like on the tags that said like help me and stuff. Like that's actually insane.
I know.
That's nuts. Like
I know.
I couldn't even imagine if I got like a piece of clothing and it said help on the tag. Like and I would think like, oh my God, that's the clothing size. Like my size is help. Like you know what I mean? Like that's so fucked up. Well, terrifying.
I mean, it's awful. And targeting the problem is one thing, but then coming up with solutions is another.
Yeah, of course.
So we like to think of ourselves as solution-based problem solvers, right? Right. And so I think what our mission is really to spread awareness and one step at a time show people kind of the way to a more sustainable, eco-friendly way of living. Because I think our generation too, and even the generations below us, like Gen Z and all of that, they're really conscious about how we all interact. They're really conscious about work-life balance. They're really conscious about the environment.
It's a very woke lifestyle. Yeah, definitely. Exactly. It's all about awareness, I think, too. It's like just education, honestly, because I think most people have no idea, like, really what plays into like Shein and Temu and TikTok Shop and what really goes on behind closed doors. And I'm excited for the first documentary that comes out. They haven't made one yet about fast fashion, but I know it will come, you know? And so I think that like people aren't really necessarily aware of like what goes on behind closed doors and like why our government hates those types of companies so much. And we don't hate them because of the morality of it, obviously. We hate them because of the money. You know what I mean? And like how much money that they're producing and how much items and just things that are on this planet that are so unnecessary. And I'm guilty because I'll buy like a hand soap, you know, dispenser that looks like a pickle shitting itself. You know what I mean? And it's like, why? Like, that's ridiculous. The amount of little these that I have, it's actually ridiculous.
They're so cute,
like,
though.
I love them, but it's like, I can't, like, why is there so many? You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. We definitely are like a huge consuming. Oh yeah. Our generation just consumes a lot. Like
and it's not like it leads to more happiness.
It does not.
I was listening to this podcast recently, and they were talking about how this generation is unhappy. Like in comparison, like the happiness scale. I don't really know how they conclude that, but compared to last generation, and it's because our generation is so much more isolated.
Yeah, and I think there's also just more things.
There's just
like,
more
to
stuff.
Have. Yeah,
more things and more stuff. And comparison is the thief of all joy. And so if we feel like we need to catch them all, Pokemon.
Yeah, absolutely. I also think too, like with our generation, I think it's like you're saying the comparison thing, and our comparison to each other's success or whatever you want to deem it is so much higher than like the exposure to teenagers in the 80s. You know what I mean? Like, think about like before social media, right? Or even before TV, really, like before like TV shows, maybe movies, but not like reality shows or like TV shows that existed in the early 90s. Before that, you only knew like the kids that went to your school or like the neighborhood, what they had. Now you go on your phone and you are just like surrounded and just pumped full of all these people on TikTok and like what they look like, their houses, their clothes, their cars, everything that they have. And you are like constantly looking at it all day, every day. So it's like, all you can do is compare yourself to like thousands of people that are doing so much better than you because they downloaded an OnlyFans. You know what I mean? So it's like, fuck. Like, what am I doing wrong? Like, this is crazy. I'm living in this shitty ass apartment, like working my ass off, and these girls are making millions a month from OnlyFans.
Maybe we just make a OF and call it a day. I don't know.
Honestly, at this point, I'm really about to. Like, I'm so sick of this. I'm so sick of like everything. I honestly might. But yeah, I think that comparison is really what deems the happiness part and like why our generation is so hungry for so many things. And I think that, like I said, there's just so much more to have, and like there's just it's a oblivion of success or like, you know, whatever you can do, and there's like a surgery and a filler and a Botox for like everything. There's you know, a million ways to make money, so like there's so much more things to be upset that you don't have versus like women in the 80s were like, yeah, I'm just lucky I'm not getting hit at night. You know what I mean? Like, they're just like holding on to bare bones, like not much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's sad. It really is.
It's definitely an overwhelming amount of options, I think, too. And maybe when there were less options or a more sustainable mindset, like we have to make our own way, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And we didn't have the internet. So things have changed a lot. And one thing that I've learned from business is kind of falling in love with the process.
Yeah.
So when I go online, I'm not perfect, but I try my hardest not to compare myself to other people.
Yeah, definitely.
But just stay on the grind, stay focused. I think it was Oprah Winfrey.
Love. Yeah.
Love.
Yeah.
And there were other talk shows coming out that, her team was worried that might eventually compete with the Oprah Winfrey show.
Yeah.
And she just reassured them, like, if we stay in our lane and keep focusing on what's next, like, you can't run quickly if you're looking behind you at your competition. Comedy is like so much like that. Comedy is like the death of comparison. Like, it is, it's agonizing, and it's very, very hard not to compare yourself because like as comedians, like our goals are online, you know what I mean? Like everything that we do is like, online now. And so I think it's really hard to not compare yourself to like what other people are doing or what shows they're booking or how many shows they have this month or you know what I mean? Like this whole thing. So I completely understand that. I think that it's an eye-opening thing too. I was watching the documentary about Jerry Springer. I watched that on Netflix. Have you seen that? No, not yet.
It's insane. Yeah.
Is it a good watch?
It's amazing. It really motivated me because he was like such a boring, like, political, like, square of a person. Like, no one gave a shit about him for, like, literally no one cared about Jerry Springer. Could you imagine a world where Jerry Springer was nobody? Like, no one gave a shit about him. Like, they were like, yeah, he's so boring. Like, he doesn't laugh. Like, he's not funny at all. He's, like, a super serious guy. And he just wanted to be, like, he wanted to make something great so bad. And then this guy, like, came in, a crazy producer that thought was a maniac, was like, what if we, like, fought? Like, what if we had people slap the shit out of each other?
We jousted.
Yeah, like crazy shit. And they were like, what if this lady just flashed her tits on national television? And Jerry Springer was like, do it. And they just like did it. Yeah, pull the trigger. And the same thing, they were like talking about Oprah Winfrey. And we're like, I mean, her numbers and like her watch time is like astronomical. Like we'll never in a million years get there. She's like the number one.
She's insane.
And I mean, he started to really compete with like Oprah Winfrey, and it was insane. Like to watch the growth of like something so insane back then become like this thing that was like so important to everybody. Like everyone knows about it. Like insane. It's crazy. Yeah. You are a realtor too, right?
Yeah. So I do commercial real estate.
Okay. So that's like businesses.
Yeah, businesses.
Okay. Nice. Do you like doing that?
Business brokerage. Yeah. So I've been doing it for about a year and 2 months now.
Okay. So newer.
Yeah, newer.
Gotcha.
So I'm actually with Reach Commercial Real Estate. And the CEO is Cassandra Hartford.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And so, I'm on her team of brokers and we go out.
Yeah.
And I actually, on my way over here, just got a listing signed. So that's really exciting.
Love. Oh my gosh, that's fun.
So I was kind of like dancing in the car. I'm like,
okay, awesome.
So we'll be bringing that to market soon. So yeah, so that's what I am really passionate, and a lot of my interests have shifted towards this direction because I got my first taste of the industry on the other side as a tenant.
Okay.
And then I was like, wow, this is a really interesting process. I get to learn about zoning and permitting and all kinds of things.
Right.
And as I was studying for my license, I was actually with a different broker, but I didn't really use my license for that year because I was so busy with the shop.
Right.
And then when I interviewed with Reach and I was granted that opportunity, I actually decided to give up the shop.
Yeah.
Because it was time, and then go full time with Reach. And that's how that transition happened.
Gotcha.
I showed Space Swap to like 7 different people, and we landed on a photographer, and now it's a photography studio.
Okay, so awesome.
My intention was to keep it something artistic, especially being right next to Savvy Vinyl Records.
Right. Yeah, I love that place too. That place is awesome.
It's sick. And she throws really sick shows. Like,
yes, I've done.
Shout out Snap.
Yes, I've done one, and it was literally a blast. Like, it was so much fun.
A comedy show?
Yes, it was a comedy show. It was literally so much fun. I can't remember who it was. I don't remember her name, but she just like came in and was like, what beers are you guys liking? Like, what do you guys want? And I was like, I mean, I love Mick Ultra. She like went to the gas station, got like 2 packs, threw them in a cooler. Like, she was literally so amazing.
Dude, she's
like,
the homie.
Pizza, whatever you guys want, like, just let us know. And I'm like, love. It was amazing. They're so nice.
She is so nice. And her mom, Martha, OG.
Mm-hmm.
So Martha, I think
she was there too. I think.
Yeah. She was one of the first women to ever work at NASA. She helped pioneer the...
What an icon.
Seriously, she helped pioneer the, what's it called? Maternal... daycare for like free daycare for NASA employees.
Love.
Which which they still have.
Was that
daycare.
Sending them into space? Was that the free daycare? Just put them on a ship, dude. Get them out of here.
Away.
Yeah. Elon Musk will take care of them later.
But, yeah, they're just insane. I mean, and that's what I love so much. Like, I love our local entrepreneur community. Like, our talent on the Space Coast, like comedians, musicians, business owners, like we have so much talent here.
Definitely.
It's insane. And I would put us against any other major city because I lived in LA for 6 years.
Oh, okay.
And I moved back home during COVID. And then I started discovering all this talent. And I was like, look at this amazing untapped place.
Yeah, definitely. Especially like artists too. Like we have so much like music and art and like the murals, and I just feel like there's so much, like, you're right, there's a lot of talent in this area, and I think that it's a positive thing. It definitely brings everybody together in ways, and then other ways it just creates a lot of competition, you know what I mean, like how just natural people are.
100%.
But I used to work for a brokerage in Melbourne, and I did the marketing. I did like real estate marketing and advertising and stuff. Absolutely hated it. So then I stopped.
You're like, I'm done.
No, I can't. Like, I love marketing so much. It's what I do now, and I really love marketing a lot. It's something I'm super passionate about. But I didn't like the company that I worked for, or like the people that I worked for specifically, because they sucked the creativity out of everything. Like, everything has to be this font, these colors, this template, and you can't like stray from that. It has to be this and this only.
Yeah.
So then it's just kind of like, I was just staring at a computer screen all day. I'm like sitting in a like shitty stink office, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Like, ugh. And the lady that owned it was like an awful person. So I just I just quit, and I like didn't want to do it anymore. But real estate's always really cool. I worked at a real estate office whenever I was 18 also.
Oh, cool.
It was like, or maybe I was 17. I was like 17 or 18. It was like, I was starting a business doing makeup. So I was like a traveling makeup artist. So
that's why you're so good at your makeup.
Yes, love it to death.
Point.
I did it for like proms, weddings, photo shoots and stuff. And I needed an office. Like, I needed an office space with like a computer and like somewhere to like meet people and look things up and like make my business cards, and just somewhere to like be the hub of like what I do behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And this lady in Marianna, Florida, shout out Ann Jones, she was like, look, if you like clean up around the office, do some things for us, I'll rent you this office space for free.
There you go.
Trade it here. This will be your little space. You can do whatever you want with it. And it helped me a lot. Like, I had gone through, I had like went to jail and stuff, and I was going through a tough time with myself, and being around like this real estate office full of women that were like such go-getters and like competitive, and just they go out there and get it, and like they're pregnant and have children and like this whole thing, and I'm just like a shitty 18-year-old that like eats like garbage and doesn't sleep and like doesn't care about anything, and I'm trying to like get my head on straight, but I really don't care enough to do it. And being around that environment every day like really changed my perspective about like entrepreneurship and business owning and having responsibility and time management 100%. And like self-esteem too, because I think that's a difficult thing too, to have like a high 100%. Self-esteem.
And I feel like we trust ourselves more and have a higher self-esteem when we learn that accountability and we learn those skills and trusting ourselves.
Definitely, like that goes hand in hand. I agree. And I think too, like being in a like all women environment, that's a positive, because I've also worked in salons and like an esthetician, so like I know what it's like to work in a shitty all women environment, and then to be in like an all women's environment that it's like these are all like grown adults, and I'm just 18, and these are like women in their like early 30s, late 30s, 40s that are like extremely mature, very wise, and like go-getters, and they're like rich, you know what I mean? So I'm like, I need to get my head on straight. I need to stop stealing from Walmart. So it's like this literally this whole thing. It's crazy. There's so many businesses, and I see you do like little interviews and stuff for different businesses. That's fun.
So that's kind of my latest. I actually actually went on a shopping spree.
Okay, love it.
Late last night, and I intentionally ordered some camera equipment that's going to help with space swap, but also cross over hopefully into some of the content that I'm recording with my real estate.
Right. Yeah,
And
definitely.
So I was commenting on the mics that you had earlier.
Yeah.
And, I really think that it's important, and from a marketing standpoint, that as entrepreneurs, like, yes, I'm with a brokerage, but I'm also my own brand.
Of course. Yeah, definitely.
So it's important for me to portray myself as I authentically am and as I authentically want to present myself to the community. And that's like a community ally and somebody that's going to look out for the best interest of the community and my clients and put my clients first. And I want people to see that I have these good standing community relationships.
Yeah, definitely.
And boost their businesses.
Yeah. I think it's too, like, with those types of businesses or that, like, the type of work that you do, real estate and space swap, I think it's really important for people to, like, invest in you because of who you are. You know what I mean? And I think that that's something like what we were talking about earlier about, like, our generation is very much, like, way more pro, like, supporting small businesses. I mean, we've even taken it as far as, like, killing healthcare CEOs. You know what I mean? Like, we're really, like, we're taking it to the extreme of supporting local businesses. You know what I mean? So, like, I think our generation is, like, very much pro shop small. You know what I mean? Like, just get the surgery in the backyard. Like, fuck United Healthcare. You know what I mean? So it's, like, I think that we, like, take that in strides and, like, we support people that we actually care about. You know what I mean? Like, we got 100%. R. Kelly off of Spotify. Like, we really are out here. Like,
I agree 100%. Like, our dollar is our vote. And I think that our generation is starting to feel that a little bit more. Yeah. And, like, they're really taking a stand for what they find important. And that's supporting the people that are local.
Yeah,
and I think
definitely.
That's really important.
How old are you?
I'm 30.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you're like a couple years older than me. I'm 26.
Bet.
Yeah.
Let's go.
You're like
it's all the same. It all just blends together.
No, it does. Honestly, don't say that, actually. I'm mortified. I was, like, thinking the other day because I'm like, God, I'm going to be 27 this year. So I'm like, I'm literally almost 30. Like,
it just keeps getting better.
I'm going to end my life. I can't.
30 is my fucking year, bro.
Really?
I'm telling you.
I'm terrified. I'm so scared.
Okay. Well, listen, I'm 30. I'm unwed. I don't have children, and I'm fucking happy because my business is...
But according to society, you're miserable.
But according to society, I'm miserable. But I'm fucking happy. And it's so funny because, of course, I get that question all the time. Like, when are you going to get married? When are you going to have kids? Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I have the love of my life. We're happy. We will get there when we get there.
Of course.
But first, I need to, like, hustle. And I need to, like, get my businesses popping. Like, my businesses are my babies. Yeah. My clients are my babies. Like, they come first. Like... And I think it's amazing, like, women who are, like, boss bitches that can, like, have kids and drive around in their G-Wagon and go to soccer practice and then go on 2 showings and then fucking close 6 deals in one day. I'm like, bitch, you do you. I can't do that.
Right.
I can't do that.
Yeah. Like, they're probably on their, like, 8th Adderall of the day. But, like, yeah, sure. You know what I mean? Like,
but, like, so much respect. I'm just not there yet. Like, I need to figure me out right now. You know, I feel like the 20s is, like, selfish. It's like your first 18 years are for your parents. Right. And then your 20s are for you. And then the 30s, it's like, yeah, eventually, like, a family and this and that. And, like, no shade to anyone who did anything their own way or out of order. Yeah, this is just my order. Like, I would love to, like, maybe start a family in 5 years. And people will be like, bitch, you'll be 35. You're going to be old and your eggs will be shriveled up. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, no, they're not.
No, like, I'll be fine.
You'll be perfect.
But, like, my businesses will be popping. And, like, that's what I really care about right now. So.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's, like, more so, like, when it comes to kids, so you can't, like, force yourself to care about things that you're just not, it's not a priority for you. And, like, to me, I wish more people were like that. Obviously, we wouldn't have, like, Casey Anthony fucking situations, but, like, yeah, she's literally back on TikTok too. Insane.
What is she?
She's literally on TikTok. And, like, she claimed herself to be a researcher and a, what did she say? She was an advocate and a researcher and a voice for the voiceless.
Oh my God. Is she going to, like, write a book on, like, if I did it, here's how I...
No, she's going to write a book on Zanny the Nanny. Like, God, she's literally insane. Yeah, I think more people should definitely think that way. I think that it's important because I feel the same way. Like, I obviously, like, can't wait to have a family and, like, you know, start that part of my life. But it's also, like, I don't ever want to like put myself in a situation where it comes too early and then like I have unfinished things and then you like harbor this like hatred and you know, you only have one fucking life. So it's like, I don't want to fuck that up. You know what I mean? And like, I need years more of therapy before I become a parent. Jesus. And so it's like, I couldn't even imagine like having a child right now. Like it is an insane thought, but you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
People do it all the time.
And you know that about yourself. And I think that's the important thing. It's like when people are ready to have a business, same thing as having a baby. It's like you will do it, right? Whether you're ready or not. But then you'll be feeling it either way. Like if you're not ready, you'll be feeling it. If you are ready, you'll be feeling it. So,
yeah, definitely.
I mean, whatever is meant to happen will happen. But I think like that makes the fit for a really good parent is when you know if you're not ready, you're not ready.
Yeah.
And so it's like, why bring life into this world right now when you know you're not ready?
Yeah, definitely.
When you want to give them the best life that you can, it's like, okay, just wait for that moment then.
Yeah, especially over like societal pressures and like you being scared you're going to be too old or something. Dude, I literally went to high school with this guy whose parents were in their 60s when we were in like 11th grade. And his parents were like 64 and like 65. And he was like a sick guy. So it's like, you'll be fine. Like, actually insane. Like in their 60s. That's wild. Like,
no, exactly. And like, and I love it for the mamas that like, that is their priority. Like, again, I think it's amazing. Yeah. It's just not my priority.
There's definitely pros and cons. I think being a young parent has a lot of pros as well. Like, you're young, you know what I mean? Like, you still have your head on straight. Like, having young parents is also, like, for me, my parents are really young. And I had young parents growing up. Like, my parents were always a lot younger than my friends' parents. And it was kind of cool, like, that my parents were younger and, like, still, like, had fun and still got drunk. And, like, were just a complete vibe, you know?
You get to chill.
Yeah, I got to chill. But then also having older parents has a lot of cons as well. You know, there's pros and cons to each one. Like, and being an older parent or being a younger parent, I think a younger parent comes with like a lot more sacrifice early on in life, but you also like get to watch your kid mature and like you were growing up and you kind of get to be, I mean, I hate to say it this way, but you be alive a little bit longer, you know what I mean? Like, but having older parents, they like, you know, had more time to figure things out and financially stable, like just a lot more stability comes with that too. So
I agree.
Pros and cons to both.
And my parents, they were actually a little bit older. I think my mom was like in her mid 30s when she had me.
Yeah.
But my parents, they ended up not staying together. And so I think that kind of pushed me into the direction of wanting to wait until I was absolutely certain that I would find a partner. And so I didn't meet Ben until I was like 27, I think. Okay. And so at that point in my life, I didn't even know if I would ever have the partner that I would want to eventually start a family with. So I was kind of just like content, like, you know what I mean? Like walking myself off the ledge of not even knowing if I would have a partner, but I was so content with, you know, that's kind of another thing that pushed Space Swap too, is like when I first started it, I was single. I didn't
Was it you by yourself? Like you came up with it and everything?
Yeah. So,
awesome.
So I came up with the idea and everything. And then I brought in people to assist along the way. Yeah. And then it kind of like, we grew a team and things like that. Yeah. But it's like, you know, the stakes were very low. I had moved back from LA during COVID. I was staying with family. I was looking to meet new people. And I was just ready to do something different, and I was just very content with not thinking that I was going to have a future with a partner and a family. I put everything into my business, and then the rest of my life is like a byproduct of me putting everything into my business. But I've become so content that has like remained my focus.
Yeah, absolutely. I think sometimes there's like benefits in being content and benefits in like, you know, seeking out relationships. Because I think a lot of times, like, whenever people, like, are, like, you know, I'm dating, I'm trying to date, but when you're, like, so seeking things out, it never really works, you know? Because nowadays there's, like, dating apps and, you know, blind dates and these, like, you know, mingle parties and just this weird shit going on with dating.
How did you meet your partner?
We worked together, actually. Nice. Yeah, we were both in a relationship when we first met. Okay. And so we were, like, just coworkers, friends, and then, we both got out of our relationships like pretty much at the same time, like maybe a week apart. And I mean, we worked together and then we slowly started hanging out outside of work. Yeah. And I mean, we definitely like our personalities clicked like right away as far as like, you know, music and comedy and everything that we liked. And so it was nice to be with someone that like, you don't feel like you have to like try really hard or like hide things or like make yourself sound better than what it really is. It was like a really refreshing experience to just be like, look, this is my life right now. I'm like pretty much in shambles and I'm trying to get my shit together. And, you know, he was kind of the same way. And so we just talked for like 3 or 4 months. Like we didn't date, we didn't put labels on things. And I think that is really the reason why we ended up working, because we wouldn't have otherwise.
You started as friends.
We started as friends, and, you know, we took our time with like the relationship part of it and not forcing ourselves into a relationship or titles or commitment or anything like that. And I think that really is what allowed us to like build the relationship we have now. And it means something to us because it's hard. I think like I'm a perpetual dater, and I think that I was like so terrified of being alone and single, and like I don't want to get hurt. I need to hurt them before they hurt me. And like this whole like, you know, immature way of dating is what I like was just in a constant cycle of my whole life basically. And so whenever we, you know, he kind of was like, no, like I don't want to date. I just want to get to know you. And I was just like, what? You know what I mean? Like you take it as rejection at first, but I think that it was super helpful for me and for him and for us. Like it ended up really making us a lot stronger in the long run, even though it was miserable.
It fosters more trust.
Yeah, it fosters more trust. And I think it allows you to like make the decision of like, do I want to date this person? You know what I mean? Because I think before it was just like, you're on dating apps, you like find someone that's attractive, you're like kind of texting, you know, it's all right, I guess. You know, you go to Squid Lips for dinner and it's just like, you know what I mean? Like it's just something fucking random. And then like you have a good time because y'all aren't going to be like mean to each other. And then you just end up like liking the attention from them, and so you force it to work, but it's not really like deep and intense. And so I think it was nice to like meet someone to have like those really deep, intense conversations with like right off the bat. You know what I mean? Like I think that that's a benefit to dating. What?
Who, me?
So
little
old
me.
The little old me. No, literally. I think that's definitely a benefit. So where do you feel like you see Space Swap and like yourself in 5 years? Like where do you think you see it all? 5 years, 10 years?
I know exactly where Space Swap's gonna be in 5 years.
Okay.
So
name it.
It's all
where's it gonna be? It's gonna be up there with Tesla.
Bitch, tell me.
Yeah, literally. You're gonna start making cars like
Well, okay, so in business, it's good to know when it's the beginning. How to transition and go through all of the ebbs and flows of business.
Right.
And it's good to know when you're going to sunset something and when to come to an end.
Right.
So my plan with the future of Space Swap is late next year, we're going to work on sunsetting the nonprofit, the company, the entity, the brand, whatever you want to call it, and just close the book completely. But I have an amazing plan for it. So I love thinking of like exit strategies in business because it's something that I never really have been taught, but it's something that I want to be super intentional about.
Yeah, of course.
Space Swap's my baby and Space Swap is all grown out. So I'm like, okay, I want to do this project for 5 years. And then around the 5-year mark, which is next year, I'm going to sunset Space Swap. So we're planning a sustainable fashion festival. We're going to do all of our favorite events in one big festival. We'll have the sustainable bikini fashion show again.
Love it.
And the clothing swap going and all these different things, maybe some speakers, some bands at this really cool venue that I don't want to name yet because it's going to be a surprise. We also have another project in the works. It's a conscious fashion magazine that we're being worked on, and that will be released spring of next year as well. And then eventually, with all of the leftover money that we have from Space Swap, I want to have a grant, competitive grants for the community, for artists, comedians, whatever, like creative entrepreneurs with, let's say we have $5,000 left over, maybe $5,000 grants that can go out to individuals that apply for these grants. And that's how I plan or we as a board plan to liquidate the rest of the funds from Space Swap.
Gotcha. So why do you want to sunset Space Swap? Do you feel like it's like kind of just reached its end?
My real estate's kind of popping off right now.
Yeah. She's like, I'm selling businesses, honey. Like, yeah, definitely.
And so, yeah, I'm so passionate about helping businesses and business owners and learning about that side of myself that I feel like it's just time.
Yeah, it's time for you to like put your priorities there. Yeah,
absolutely.
So with commercial real estate, you're meaning like you're helping like, you know, let's say I want to open up a bakery and you would help me like find the place.
Location.
Gotcha.
Absolutely.
So that's what you're liking to do is like help businesses make their storefront. Gotcha.
Absolutely. And it's a whole wraparound thing, right? Because I meet people at different points in their business.
Right.
It might just be an idea, or they might have owned a bakery for 10 years and they're ready to buy a building. Like, or maybe they're ready to retire and they need to sell their business and sell the building
to someone else.
To someone else. And so it's all different phases. And so let's say it's just an idea, it's just a conception. I have all this business experience and community connections to say, you know, that's a really great idea. How are you going to take it to the next level? Like, do you have your LLC established? Do you have a business bank account? Do you have all these different things? No, I don't know how to do that. It's like, okay, well, let me connect you to my friend. They're a business coach. They work off of grants for a nonprofit. So the services are free to you. And then chat with my friend over here. And then when you're ready for the next step, then I can help you look at commercial space.
Gotcha.
So it's a whole wraparound experience that I work with my clients to make sure that their business is going to be successful and they're not just like thrashing around in a space for 2 years.
Yeah, definitely.
Dying and depleting all of their funds. And then they're going to be that bakery that closes.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's a whole living, breathing
like cycle and process
that I've been through. It's like, you know, I gave birth and now I get to help other women give birth.
Now you're gonna be a surrogate.
And that's how I look at that and like why I'm so passionate is because I've been through it, and so I get to help people doing exactly the same thing.
Yeah, definitely,
but in their own way.
Yeah, of course. And I think with like the economy too, with everything being so expensive, I think it's definitely like important to have people that are going to allow people to be resourceful too, because if you're just kind of going through like the process alone and like maybe you're taking advice from the wrong people, you know, you end up like spending way more money than like necessary. And so to have, you know, the mindset and have people that are like, these are resources to help this be like as profitable as possible. It allows small businesses to stay open because I think since COVID and the economy and stuff, so many small businesses are closing.
100%.
It's unfortunate because you can't survive. You know what I mean? Like you just can't do it.
Yeah. We need them to be prepared. We need them to have an actual business plan. And how are you going to get through the hard times? Like, let's say you're opening a restaurant and 3 months out of the year, it's just dead in the summertime. How are you going to survive? And so just getting them to kind of like think about those things before it happens, I think we can really, really prepare these small businesses to stay open for a lot longer. Yeah,
100%. That's awesome. I think that it's always important to have like connections in the community, and I think that that's something that I'm really like with the pod and with you know comedy and stuff, like being a lot more conscious about that and like creating a community, because I think that that's what is super important, and to have people that like really drive comedy apart, or like it's always a competition and it's this me versus you type of ideation and things that people come up with in their head. It's not beneficial to anybody. I think it's so beneficial to like have business owners and have people that, you know, could potentially be a comedy venue at one point, like Space Swap was, you know what I mean? Like you never know. And it's comedy is something that everybody can relate to. Everyone laughs. Everyone knows how to laugh. Everyone likes to laugh. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's something that really can bring everyone together. So it's really cool. And I think that what you're doing is sick. I think that you're a really successful person and you're like really inspiring to people as far as like business side and women and just, you know, you seem like someone that really knows what they want and knows exactly what they want to do and are going to do it. And that's just it. And that's awesome. I think that that's like an amazing thing to have, because I don't have that.
I appreciate it. And like, honestly, it's so important to have different people. Like I call it your personal board of directors, right? Like those people or those women or those business owners or friends or partners that you can lean on for that advice. And so I feel like I've built up a really strong community of personal board of directors that I can lean on for different things, right? I have like my creatives that I can go to for space swap stuff. I have my professionals that I can go to for real estate stuff. And then I just have those really like core group of friends that want to see what's best for me. And kind of,
definitely.
You know, hold up that mirror for you. And they're like, okay, like realistically speaking, if you know, if you don't care about this person's feelings, what do you actually want? Like, stop trying to please everyone.
Yeah. And I think having like the support system of friends, family, people that you've met, like that strong core like support system is like what makes somebody successful. And that's like goes down to relationships, it goes down to friends, it goes down to like everything. Your coworkers, like where you put yourself in your environment is what is going to determine your success. It really is really true.
And same to you. I'm so proud that you're like doing your own thing and you have your podcast.
Thank you. I'm trying my best. I'm really honestly just trying to not have to work a 9 to 5 and just be a famous comedian, famous podcast. Honestly, anything that's gonna get me rich. I'm trying so hard. I'm putting my effort into it. And I think that people like me, not to be like a weirdo, but I think people like me are bound to be successful. And I think you are the same way. You're in that same category that like, no matter what we do, it's going to work. You know, it may take us a minute to get there, but like it's going to work. And so I try to have like, you know, be content and have faith that that is what's going to happen, and hard work pays off for sure.
It's people that fall in love with the process, right? It's like you love the recording of the podcast, and you love like figuring out like what is the best lighting, what is this, what is that, and being willing to make those mistakes.
Definitely, and just be entertaining. Like I want something that people like can relate to and have on, and people want to watch and people want to listen to. And the fact that like anybody listens to what I have to say, or you know what I mean, or like clicks on it and watches the whole thing is nuts to me just to begin with. Like,
would we be able to see if someone watched the whole thing?
I think like, so.
Through and through. Okay, that'd be really fascinating. I would love to see.
It's like people just stop at like 2 minutes through and it's like a fake view. That would be so. I honestly don't know if I want to know. I don't want to know where people end the video, because like if it's gonna be like me talking or like I start to cry and it's like, oh god, terrible. Well, shout out what you have going on. Shout out your socials, where people can find you.
Yeah, so you can find me at Alexandra Kumara, and you can find Space Swap at space_swap. But as I mentioned, I probably won't be doing too much posting late next year once we kind of discontinue, but I plan to keep the socials open just in case we have a Space Swap reunion in a few years.
You never know.
Surprise people and shock them, and they'll be like, oh, a reunion.
She's back. You
never know. And I think just seeing kind of what happens and what goes. And
and you all have the event in April, right?
We'll have the event in April, so you can see that. That'll be at the Indie Yard, April 19th from noon until 3 p.m. at the Indie Yard. It's going to be a clothing and book swap. So we're partnering with a local bookstore trying to open an EGAD. It'll be an inclusive space called Moonstruck. And we have Brevard Girls Club in on it, and a couple of other partners will be donating clothing to the Women's Center of Brevard. And it's actually, I think, Domestic Violence Awareness Month as well.
Awesome.
So that'll be nice. They'll have a table. They'll be out speaking to people, and we can do the good old fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate you taking the time to come on.
You're
we
so
love
sweet.
it. You're so sweet. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Well, goodbye, everybody. That's a wrap.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Watermelon goblin size of King Kong. Watermelon goblin size of King Kong. Glasses shattering, million fractions on my face. I can't seem to put them back together in one place. Fractured on my fingers, swollen tongue is out of taste. Cut down all my trees, I'm catching monsters by the lake. I hope I'm not wrong. I hope I'm not wrong.